Hello. Today is December 30th. It is the day before the turn of the century. Not the century, just the turn of the year. I was born at the turn of the century, though, 1999, which is very cool. Um, don't consider myself a 90s baby for obvious reasons, because I was only alive for maybe like a good 2.5 months of 1999. But, anyways, New Year's coming up, not thinking about this, because of the new year. This is something I think about a lot. But again, the whole point of this channel is for me to just kind of say my piece. And if there's people out there that relate, that's what it's all about. I'm not trying to do anything extravagant, not a ton of fanfare, just want to be that voice for people to relate to if they feel like it. But if not, I'm here to relate to myself and hopefully look back on these videos in a couple of years and I don't know, maybe I can laugh at myself a little bit and be like, dang, like he had nothing to worry about, or maybe I'm just like, anyways, yeah, maybe I'll look fondly on these videos. But today what I wanted to talk about was being 25 and feeling like I'm falling behind. Yes, that's the fun topic at hand. I'm sure there's people in my position, people who are older. Unfortunately, there's probably people who are younger than me that even feel like they're falling behind. And I feel crazy for being 25 years old and being like damn bro, it's over. Like I'm out of time. Like I got no time left. Which is ridiculous cuz obviously in terms of the average lifespan, quarter life more or less, I've been seeing a lot of stuff recently, a lot of people kind of talking about the quarter life crisis. And, I think it's a real thing. I think it's absolutely real. I was actually walking down the street the other day, and this woman was talking to her daughter, like her young daughter. She was probably like 8 years old, and she was telling her about the quarter life crisis. And I was like, dude, don't tell your don't tell her about the quarter life crisis. Like I remember growing up there's the midlife crisis and I was like, oh man, like that's going to be rough once it hits. But I don't know, to be young and told there's a quarter life crisis, like I don't know, dude. I'd save that for later. Let them figure that out, or I don't know, let them tell you when they feel like they're going through a quarter life crisis. But I don't know if I'd quite say I'm in crisis mode. I think that's a bit much. But for some people, I think that's totally valid. I think there's actually people who feel like they're going through a quarter life crisis. And definitely for most of this year, I was feeling like I was falling behind and that I still don't really feel like I'm where I should theoretically be. But, with this economy in America and I don't know, just the way things are going, it's hard. I heard something the other day like there's like 50% of people under the age of 30 live at home. Thankfully, I don't live at home, but I'd be lying if some days I didn't think about the benefits of living at home and, saving money. But, my home life and where I live now just are non compatible. I think I'd go crazy living at home. Not that there's anything wrong with where I'm from or like my home life. It's just, I just can't do it. 18 years old, I was like, I got to get out of the house. I got to go to college. I got to do something. But, graduated coming up on 3 years now, graduated from school, not going to school or not working in the field that I went to school for. But I mean, that's fine. That's understandable. I went to school for something pretty specialized. And I thought there was going to be a lot more job opportunity for me, but I think also as I got older, I realized that maybe the career I thought I was going to have doesn't necessarily line up with my current set of morals and, just kind of how I feel about the world in terms of like hyper consumption and, all that good stuff, especially waste too. Like, I'm an artsy person. I like to design, I do music, all sorts of stuff. And, having a clothing label and stuff like that, like always been something that's super intriguing to me. But the more I think about all the waste that happens through the textile industry is like, all that has kind of altered my path a lot. Definitely post college, if I really wanted to go into that field, I would have worked really hard to do so. But I think just where I'm at now, I think that's just a good indicator that what I went to school for really wasn't what I wanted to do. And reckoning with that has definitely been helpful. But it's hard. You put a lot of money and a lot of time and energy into school, and to feel like it like went to waste is like, I don't know, that's tough. You feel it from yourself, kind of feel it from your parents, your peers. It's tough. I know, like, I'm very happy with my job right now. I got a new job in mid October, and that was very necessary. Changed it up from my first job out of college, got a new job, got a lot more responsibilities. I like that a lot. Something I learned a lot about myself, and I worked really hard to, accomplish the things that I did this year. But sometimes it doesn't feel like it's enough, and that's very unfortunate. Because if I look back, this has been a very productive year for me. I've done a lot of good work in, many aspects of my life, with my health, with my artistic passions, but I don't know. It's tough. It just feels like 25 is like, I see people younger than me who seemingly are, I don't know, you could say doing better. Again, it's all relative, but you can't shake those feelings. It's hard. Um, Especially social media, dude. You're seeing everything everybody's doing all at once, in that, I don't know, that's hard for your mental health. I know some people who can just really go on social media and just revel in, or I guess not revel, but like, can really look at other people's accomplishments and feel happy for them. And I feel happy too, but I think it's just always comes back in a negative way, and it kind of hits me deep, and makes me feel like because someone else is doing better, I'm doing worse. And I think that's kind of the nature of American society, is like, if you're not winning unless you're putting someone else down. And I don't know. That's kind of something I think about. But yeah, it's hard to see other people seemingly doing well. Kind of what I talked about in one of my other videos is people can really manufacture what their life is looking like, and I know I could do that too. But it doesn't, even if it's fake, it's like movies. It's like, even if something's fake, you're watching a movie, all of a sudden you're emotionally invested in characters, and you can be sad or happy, and you're like, I know it's fake, but that's the power of the human psyche, is like, we just empathize and we just adapt to the stimuli around us. But yeah, I don't know what's going to make me feel like I'm on track. And I'm not talking about like a lot of the traditional stuff, like getting married and having a house and having kids and all that. Like, that's not my litmus test for where I'm at in this lifetime. But I just know, and I've known at such a young age, that like, I have so much to accomplish, and I have so much creativity to put out in the world, and I feel like I've just barely scratched the surface as to what I've actually accomplished. And maybe that's a good sign. Maybe I can use that as motivation to be like, you haven't done enough, but there's so much time to go forward. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough being this age in this time period. You get to see a lot of people younger than you doing big things, or just making a lot of money, if that's also something you're super into. But yeah, I just gotta like buckle down. I gotta continue to I don't know, focus up and put my time towards meaningful things that I think are best shared with the world. Kind of like this YouTube channel. Doing YouTube is helping me not watch YouTube, which is definitely a big vice of mine. Might seem a little counterintuitive, but I don't know. It's not the YouTube, it's how much I spend on there. But creative outlets are going to be super important for me going forward, especially like this channel. especially working on music, all those other artistic endeavors, and, just giving my full force and effort to my current job is also very important. But yeah, I feel like I've excelled in a lot of categories in my young 25 years, but there's also, feeling like a late bloomer sometimes. Feels like a lot of other people got it figured out way sooner than me. And it's hard to not feel like you're playing catch up. This is something I'd probably want to talk about more in depth, come back to this, but those are kind of my initial thoughts. If you're my age, if you're 25, if you're younger, if you're older, if you're feeling the same way, just know that you're not the only one. There's a lot of us out here feeling this way. And, I'm not going to pretend like I got the answers, but sometimes hearing a friend go through similar things can really make you feel like you're not the only one and that you're not crazy for feeling these ways. But yeah, if you got access to it, go to therapy. Super important. I love therapy, but a lot of it comes down to you. A lot of it is thinking about your accomplishments, putting it into perspective, and also just making a game plan of like, okay, maybe I am late to the party, which is definitely not true. But if you feel like you're late to the party, what can you do to kind of compensate? And maybe what can you do to help you catch up? Maybe you need to sprint while other people are jogging. And then, if you sprint enough for enough time, maybe you can go back to that jogging pace. But I wish you all the best and stay tuned.